Good morning, everybody. It's the first live of 2017. I hope you guys had an awesome holiday season and are bursting into the new year, ready to do new things for yourself. And if you already have a business, ready to do new things for your business. And if you don't have your own business yet, I know some of you in here are still in your 9-to-5 and waiting to make that big leap. And I hope that leap comes for you in 2017. It's always so exciting to start a new year and to work on new goals, and whether you call them resolutions or not, doesn't make a difference. It only matters that you want 2017 to be bigger and better than 2016. And that's all any of us can do, is try to be better every single day. Try to be better today than you were yesterday, not try to be better than, these other people that you watch on Facebook or, your competition or whoever else you're watching. It's just about trying to be better than you were yesterday. So I am starting my week off putting together some sort of cold pitches for speaking, which I don't do very often. Almost all of my speaking comes now from people who reach out to me first and ask me to come speak. That is after years of speaking and pitching myself. So since I haven't had to pitch myself in a while, I was going to sort of talk to you guys about how I'm pitching myself this week, why I'm doing it, and how I'm going to go about it, because maybe there are some things you can learn from my process that you can use as part of your own process if public speaking is something that you want to pursue more in 2017. So I started speaking in 2008, I believe. And it's really funny. I actually was at a college football bowl game on Saturday, and it was Georgia Tech was one of the teams that was playing. And this young man comes up to me in the media workroom and introduces himself. And I'm like racking my brain trying to think where I've met him before. I lived in Atlanta, and that's where Georgia Tech is. And so I'm like trying to think like how I know this guy. The name like wasn't ringing any bells at all. And I was starting to feel terrible. And he said, you don't know who I am. He said, but I was in a class at Georgia State that you came and spoke to. And that was really neat because Georgia State is the very first place I ever spoke. It was the first thing I ever pitched myself for, and the first place I ever spoke. I ended up speaking there 3 or 4 times. So he and I tried to trace back, and we're not sure if he was in the very first class I spoke to or the second one that I spoke to, but regardless, kind of a really cool thing. Now he has graduated and is working in sports and works at Georgia Tech. And it was just really neat to be able to run into someone who was in one of my very first audiences when I was nervous and had no idea what I was doing. So I told him I wish he had seen me a little later in my speaking career when I had my act together a little more, but he assured me that it was great. So it's a blur to me. I think I was so nervous I don't remember a whole lot about it, except that I did it. So I think I've told you guys before, if you watch my lives on public speaking, about how I got that first speaking gig, but I will run through it again kind of quickly. I know those of you have heard it before. I don't want to bore you, but it's definitely a great way to get speaking gigs, is to pitch yourselves at the university level. Kind of depends on what your topic is, but it's great for a lot of people. And then I'll talk to you about how I'm going to pitch myself this week for some speaking gigs out in Los Angeles, and why I'm pitching myself when normally I just wait for speaking gigs to come to me. There's a reason I'm being proactive this time, and so I'm going to talk to you about that, and then how I go about figuring out who to contact and the type of things that I'll say to them. And hopefully you guys will get some great tips from this that you can use to start landing speaking gigs in 2017. Okay. So my first speaking gig, like I said, was at Georgia State, and I pitched myself for that. It was a cold pitch. I didn't know the person I was emailing, but I had been told that I should start doing public speaking, that it was a great way to build a platform for my book that I was going to write. And I wholeheartedly agree. Now, having spoken for 9 years, I can tell you it's a fabulous way to get more credibility, to establish yourself as an expert in your field, to get out there and meet people who can not only hook you up sometimes with more speaking gigs, but who might become clients or customers as well. It's a great way to market yourself and your business. And one of the reasons is because no one else is doing it. Public speaking is one of those things that I think people fall into like two general camps, okay? They're either terrified of public speaking, even if they're sort of interested in it, they're terrified by it, or they're interested in it, but they've like put it on the back burner, it's not a priority, they're not pitching themselves for it yet. So generally people kind of fall in those two categories. And then you have a very, very, very small number in each industry of people who are actually out there speaking. And so the reason I love public speaking is because so few people are doing it. It's such a great way to stand out in an otherwise crowded marketplace. If you're here live and 2017 is the year that you are going to get up on that stage, either for the first time or it's just something that you're going to push to do more, I want to hear it. Put it in the comments. Let me know that you're here and let me know what your public speaking goals are for 2017. And that way I can make sure that when I do lives or I put out, PDF guides or anything like that, I'm giving you guys what you need to take that next step forward. Okay. I want to give you tons of value. I want to share with you this information that I have from being a public speaker for 9 years, because I had no idea what I was doing in the beginning. When I reached out to Georgia State to get my first public speaking gig, I had never spoken before outside of being a student in classrooms and speaking in my own classes, when you had to get up and give a report or whatever. And I had no idea how you pitch yourself for public speaking either. My publisher had said, you really should get out there and be speaking more. It'll help establish you as an expert, gives you all this credibility. You want to build relationships with these professors so that maybe they'll use your book when it comes out. But they gave me no guidance on how to do it. And so I had a nonfiction book that was coming out that was on a very specific topic about finances in sports. And actually both of my books are about business and financial issues in sports. And so I looked to see what sort of classes Georgia State had in their sports management program that would deal with financial situations like the ones I was writing about in my book. Danielle says she wants to do speaking engagements and workshops related to her business. I'm telling you, public speaking is an incredible way to stand out in a crowded marketplace because so few people are out there doing it. And it's not just the people you're going to get up in front of at the actual speaking engagement. It's being on social media or sharing with your newsletter and talking about that speaking engagement leading up to the actual speaking engagement, talking about it the day of, talking about it afterwards. It's so much more than just that one speech and just the people who are sitting there in the room. I've even had the opportunity with some of my speeches, and this depends on who you're speaking to, if they're paying you, and whether they would allow this or not. But a lot of times I take the tripod and the iPad that are sitting right in front of me that I'm using for this live, and I set them up on the stage with me, and I broadcast my speech on Periscope. Now you could do it on Facebook Live. You could do it on YouTube. There are a lot of different ways you could do it, and I would say go wherever your audience is. But a lot of my speaking engagements are about sports, and my sports following is really on Twitter, and so Periscope makes the most sense for me. I know Twitter is going live now too, and so is Instagram, but for me, Periscope's still the best for my sports stuff. So first and foremost, don't look at public speaking as just an opportunity to get in front of the people that are in the room. It's going to be a credibility builder for people when they see you talk about it leading up to the event and the day of the event and even after the event. It's going to give you that expert status that I know so many of you are looking for, give you that credibility with potential clients and customers so that they feel comfortable choosing you over the other people in the marketplace. Okay, so it's not just the people who are sitting in that room, it's everyone who's going to find out that you did that speaking engagement. Okay. Virginia says that she needs help pitching. I'm going to talk about that. That's what this live is mainly going to be about, is pitching. Evie says Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Evie. Happy New Year to all you guys. It's so nice to be back from the holidays and back together with everybody. I missed you guys. Danielle says she wants to know how to pitch. Okay, so let's talk about pitching. Getting comfortable here. Okay. So when I pitched myself that first time, let me back up for just a second. Some of you have probably heard me talk about this 5-step process I have for public speaking, not just for myself, but for my clients as well. And I have a brand new public speaking course that just came out. I only sort of soft launched it at this point. And actually, for those of you who are live today, I'm going to give you the link and show you where you can go and get it for the last day at my soft launch price, because I actually have people right this minute who are getting up my new sales page and hooking up my new Facebook ads to start running the course at the full price. But anyway, in the course, and I'm going to give you some of it here, I teach this 5-step process. And I say that first and foremost, you've got to decide why you're pitching yourself for the engagement. So this is something you do like every single time before you pitch yourself. So if I'm pitching myself because I want to sell copies of my book, I'm going to want to be in front of a different audience than if I'm pitching myself because I'm trying to build credibility as a publicist. Okay. My book's about the business side of college football, whereas my business is as a publicist and doesn't necessarily have anything to do with sports. And so I think it's important that you identify why you want to get up on the stage first, and then you choose the audience, okay? So when you decide why you're getting up there, then you can figure out who needs to be in the audience for you to reach that goal. And then you figure out where do those people hang out that you can get in front of them. So when I got in front of an audience the first time, I was just trying to establish credibility and establish myself as an expert. And that book was actually about the business side of Major League Baseball. And so I was trying to establish credibility and establish myself as an expert on baseball's collective bargaining agreement. Okay, so then you start thinking, okay, who can you get in front of that cares about that? It's a very niche topic, which is great. If you're going to pitch yourself for public speaking, honestly, the more niche, the better. When people come to me and say they want to get involved in public speaking, and I say, great, what do you want to speak about? And they say, I want to talk about leadership. Fantastic, but so do 10,000 other people. You've got to make your topic a little more unique than that. Now, it can still be about leadership, but what we want to do is flesh the idea out a little more and figure out what is it about your background and your experience that gives you a unique take on leadership. Okay, and now let's figure out the topic. So an example of a creative way I did that one time was I got asked to speak, but I had to come up with the topic. I got asked to speak last January to the I think it's the American Advertising Federation is what their initials stand for. But they said I could pick the topic. They wanted to have me come speak, but they wanted me to figure out the topic. And I really wanted to talk about personal branding. I was in the kind of early months of building my business, and I wanted it to be something related to my business, but I knew that they were more interested in me because of my sports background. But I didn't want to go in and just do a sports speech because I really wanted to start introducing more people to my business as a publicist and what I was trying to do with my business. And so I came up with the idea of it was something like personal branding lessons you can learn from, or what sports marketing teaches us about how to brand ourselves, something like that. I had a great title I came up with at the time that I can't remember off the top of my head, but I still did my speech on personal branding, but I gave it my own unique twist by using sports examples because they were interested in my background as a sports journalist. And so, you start with why, figure out that goal. Why are you getting up on the stage? Why are you pitching yourself for this engagement? Then you can figure out who needs to be in the audience in order for you to be able to reach that goal. Then you figure out where do people like that hang out. And so for that first speaking engagement that I did, that was all about just building credibility and establishing myself as an expert, there's not a lot of groups who get together and talk about collective bargaining in Major League Baseball. It's a very niche topic, but it is something that would be discussed in a classroom. And so I went on Georgia State's website and I pulled up their course catalog and I looked at their sports management courses that they had running that semester. And one of them was called Sport Finance. And I thought, that's perfect. I mean, that's what I'm talking about is finances in Major League Baseball. And I saw the name of the professor who was teaching the course. I found her email address and I just emailed her. I do things a little differently sometimes now than I did in that email. And so when it comes to actually writing the email itself, I think the best way to write it is to start out with a really interesting fact or a question that really grabs people's attention, something shocking or surprising, unique, different, something about your topic that really can grab someone's interest and you want them to keep reading the email. And so what I normally do is throw out that interesting, shocking, surprising question or fact. and then flesh out my topic idea a little bit. I tell them what the name of the speech would be, and then I go into my own background and kind of give my bio and position myself as the right person to talk about that topic. I don't think there's one cookie cutter way to write these pitches and to pitch yourself for it. It's all about putting yourself out there. I'm sorry, there's I sit facing windows, and the windows partially look at the ocean, which is why my office is where it is, but they also, like, my windows to this side face the back side of someone's house, and there is a guy on the roof of the house. I think he's taking down Christmas decorations, but he looks like he's gonna fall off, so we'll keep an eye on him and call 911 if we need to. You don't expect to see a person walking around. I'm on the second story, so it's not often I see a person walk in front of these windows. Okay. So as far as the pitch email goes, there's no one perfect way to do it. And even I alter my approach sometimes. It kind of depends on if I've ever met the person, if I've been referred to them. I mean, if that's the case, those are things I'm going to start out with right at the beginning of the email. Or if I saw that they, have an event coming up, maybe I reference the event pretty early in the email. It sort of depends on what you're pitching yourself for, how cold the pitch is. I don't think there's a right way to do it. There is a wrong way. And the wrong way to do it is to pitch something that's too broad. So, like I told you guys, there's so many people who come to me and they say, I want to speak about leadership. That idea is not fleshed out enough for you to pitch yet. So the few of you that are here, I want to give you like some hands-on coaching. I actually am like technically off today. I've closed the office and I'm not really doing work, but I really wanted to do this live today, and I wanted to offer you guys this one last chance to get the soft launch pricing for my course. So I want to know, those of you who are here, if you were going to pitch yourself today, what would your topic be? Just pop that down in the comments and I'll let you know if I think that it's specific or unique enough, because that's really the one wrong thing you can do when you are pitching, is to either not pitch a topic at all. Sometimes people will just email and like give their bio and be like, hey, if you ever need a speaker, let me know. You're unlikely to get a lot of responses that way. You really need that fleshed out topic idea. So go ahead and pop those in the comments and I will let you know what I think about those ideas and whether they're specific enough or not. And we're going to keep talking through pitching, but I know some of you are having to like jump on and jump off, and you are at work today or you've got other things going on. So I'm going to pop the link for the current soft launch sales page into the comments. This is the last day that it's going to be up there at $395. It's going to go up to $495 tomorrow when my new sales page goes live. And this course will teach you everything you need to start booking speaking engagements, not just in 2017, but depending on how fast you work through the course, because it's self-paced, you could be pitching yourself for speaking engagements next week. There's a lot of material in this course, but if you really wanted to hit it hard for the next week or two and you already had some of your ideas fleshed out, you could get through it quick enough to be pitching yourself pretty fast. It walks you through sort of that idea of this 5-step process in the order in which you come up with, why you're speaking and who you want to speak to and where those people hang out. It walks you through developing your topic to make sure we have that unique topic that is going to be enough to get people to say yes. I walk through how to pitch. I show you tons of sample pitches that I've done for myself and for clients. I walk you through paragraph by paragraph, writing that pitch letter. We talk about how to leverage on social media, because again, I told you at the beginning, this isn't just about the people who are sitting right there in the audience. It's about the people you can tell about your speaking engagement. You can get additional speaking engagements and you can get clients and customers who don't even sit in the room and hear you. They just see you talk about it on social media. It happens to me all the time, and that's why I don't have to pitch myself anymore. I need to go back and count, but I think I spoke something like 20 times last year and all over the country, and I didn't pitch myself for a single one of those. I take that back. I pitched myself for one of them. Last summer, there was something I really wanted to do and I pitched myself for it, but everything else came to me, and it's because I constantly talk about myself as a public speaker on social media. I constantly talk about my speaking engagements, and not just like one photo I click on the day I'm speaking. I have a whole strategy for how I talk about it leading up to the event, the day of the event, after the event. I get all the mileage I can. If I'm going to go speak, I want to really leverage it and get everything I can out of it. So I'm teaching you that in the course, and I'm teaching you how to put together the actual speech. How do you put it together in a way that moves your audience to want to help you reach your goal, whether that's getting clients, selling products, selling books, whatever that is. How do you engage the audience and move them to do what you want them to do? Stage presence, what do you do when you're up on the stage? How do you use the stage? What are the kind of no-nos? I show you speeches from people who I think are great and actually break down the reasons why they're great and give you like a bulleted list of everything they did that you can steal and swipe to make your speech amazing. So this course is everything you need, whether you've never spoken before or you've spoken a few times and you want to speak more. And one of the bonuses right now during the soft launch is a guide on how to start making money speaking. So if you're somebody who's already been speaking for free and you want to start making money, you can also learn how to start booking more gigs and book those gigs where you can actually make money. So I see some of you guys have popped down in the comments your topics. So I'm going to go through those and tell you which of those I think are unique and great and are going to work for you. And I'm looking around for my phone because I was going to pop in the comments for you guys really quick the link to the course in case you want to check that out while I'm going through people's topics. And I'm going to cheat, and give me 1 second. I'm going to keep talking to you, but I'm going to go over here and steal my laptop because I'm talking to you guys on here. And apparently it won't let me comment on the iPad that's sitting in front of me because that would be too easy, right? And I set up this new URL for my sales page, but it's actually already going to the new sales page, which has the more expensive rate. And I want you guys to get in today while it's still at the cheaper soft launch rate, because you are my loyal group members who I adore so much, and I want you to get in at this price. Okay, here we go. I am going to put it in the comments right now. Boom. Okay, so now I'm going to read through, let me just scroll back. Excuse me. Let me scroll back. Okay, Danielle says her topic is branding yourself as an artist or creative, or building a successful business as an artist or creative. That's great, because you're not just saying that you want to talk about personal branding or you want to talk about how to get your business started and how to grow it. You're doing it specifically for artists and creatives. I love that. You would want to have that right in the title of your speech. And that's actually something I go through in the course as well, is how to write the title for your speech, because generally when you pitch yourself, you are going to tell people what you would title your speech. And there is an art to that. There is a right and a wrong way to title your speech. You want it to be specific. You want it to sound niche. So I think there's a lot you can do with that, Danielle, and you're definitely on the right path. I like that a lot. Virginia says her topic is leveraging communication techniques to strengthen your sales closing. I like that. That's specific. You're not saying, I want to come speak to your group about communication. Fantastic. Like communicating with my coworkers, communicating with clients. Who are we communicating with? But you're being specific. You want to leverage communication techniques to strengthen your sales closing. And I can already imagine some really cool headline topic, titles for your speech. I'm still getting through like the brain fog of the holidays. Actually, my parents were here this weekend. They're still here. And we sat out by my fire pit last night drinking champagne, and like my voice is a little off. I think I inhaled too much smoke. And I might have had like a few glasses of champagne and not be firing on all cylinders. So excuse me if I trip over my words. Okay, TJ says his topic is the magic of direct care and active treatment. I know what you do, TJ, so I know from that what you're talking about. But if you were going to do it as your speech title, you would want to tweak that. And I know now we're just talking about topics, but you'd want to be really careful with the way you title your speech to make sure that people understand. And obviously in a pitch email, you're going to have the room to flesh out your idea a little bit. It's not going to be just your title of your speech. But I just want to make sure you package that in a way that people understand. I know, because I know what you do and I've seen your stuff before, but that's just my sort of my 2 cents on that. Okay, Heather says hers is behavior management for kids. Okay, the only thing I would ask with that is it a certain, these are the questions I have. I'm just off the top of my head. Is it for a certain age range? When we're talking kids, are we talking 2 and 4-year-olds with behavior problems? Are we talking 13 and 15-year-olds with behavior problems? I would guess those are pretty different. So I would think about having a specific age range to niche that down just a little more from where you're at right now. And are we talking about sort of your average child? Are we talking about children that maybe have some sort of learning disability? Is there anything, and maybe there's not anything more specific, but those are sort of the questions that come to my mind. So you might be like a tad too broad right now, but if you titled your speech appropriately and fleshed out the idea and the pitch a little bit, you're on the right path. I can see that already, but those are the kinds of things I would think through about making sure it's really targeted, so that it's not too broad. Okay. I think that's the ones I have. So if you're here live and you didn't pop in your topic, feel free to do that, and I'll give you a little feedback on your topic and how to make sure that you get that specific enough, because that really is the one mistake you can make in your pitch. Well, there's a few, okay? Saying the wrong person's name. So if you're emailing Mary and you've emailed several people today about speaking and you're cutting and pasting it and you're emailing Mary and it says, "Dear Tom," that's a pretty big mistake. So that's one that you don't want to make. Not being specific enough about your topic and not really niching down enough is a mistake. And that's the one we're just working through now. And then you want to make sure that the sort of bio portion you put in about yourself positions you as an expert on that topic. And don't get caught up in the expert label and think, okay, am I an expert enough for this? Can I really get up on a stage and deliver on this topic? You know, there's 10 other people who know it better than me that they could have instead. Don't get in that headspace. This is not about being the world's foremost expert, okay? You don't have to be the biggest expert in the world to get up on a stage and deliver a speech. You are an expert on your own experience, okay? And most of you who've dropped your comments in here, I know, but even the ones who don't, I would imagine that what you want to speak about is based on some sort of personal experience you've had. Most of us build our businesses and build our work around things that we're passionate about because something has happened to us or to a loved one. Something has happened in our life that made that topic important to us. And we've all had different backgrounds as far as our education and our career and our life experiences. That is what you are an expert on. You are an expert on your own experience. Own that. Don't try to convince people you are the biggest expert in the world and that's why they have to have you come speak on this topic. You are selling yourself and that you are an expert on this because of your own experience. So, and that this lends itself, you know, some topics lend itself to this more than others, but you want to be vulnerable. You want to be willing to share personal stories. You want to be self-deprecating. Actually, in the module in my course where I talk about stage presence and the best way to deliver an engaging speech, one of the things I come back to over and over is the best speakers are self-deprecating. You have got to learn to make fun of yourself, to poke fun at yourself, to tell stories about yourself. And even if they're difficult and emotional and traumatic stories, to learn how to tell them in an engaging way that pulls people in. And one great way to do that is by being very self-deprecating and being vulnerable and being willing to share the dark and the light parts, being willing to share the good and the bad, the positive and the negative, however you want to put it. It's all about being vulnerable and being open. So all of your topics sound like topics that would lend themselves really well to sharing those personal experiences, but make sure that's in the pitch, okay? When you give the bio in your pitch and you credential yourself, it's not just about saying I have this degree or I worked in this field for this many years. Those things are great too and can give you credibility, but what's going to make you a dynamic speaker, and people who book speakers know this, what's going to make you a dynamic speaker is your willingness to share your own experiences, your own path, your own story, and why this topic, why you're passionate about it. Why did you choose this topic? Make sure that that's in the pitch, not just in the speech. Even if you've done a great job crafting the speech and all that's in the speech, it's got to be in the pitch too. I've got to understand why I would want to book you. And I want to book you because you're passionate about the topic. And I need you to show me and prove to me you're passionate about the topic. Don't prove to me you're the world's foremost expert, unless you are. If you discovered penicillin, whatever, then fine. If you're at that level, then you can lead with that. But for most of us, it's about telling why we became passionate about the subject. And it's usually something in our background and our experience. And you need to share that right in the pitch. Sherry says her topic is reconnecting with yourself after your career and family. I like that. That's niche. And so the questions I would have for you, Sherry, would be, is this just for women or is it for women and men? If it's just for women, I would make that clear. And again, I know we're just talking about topics and we're not necessarily into titles and you're not fleshing out your entire topic, but these are the kind of things that go through my mind when I see your topic. Is it just women or is it women and men? And it sounds like we're probably talking about a specific age group because we're talking about after your career. So those are the kinds of things you would want to flesh out in a pitch to make sure people understood your topic and that it was a nice niche topic. I mean, that's what people really want. They want people who are going to come in and share specific experiences and actionable advice. Okay. That is the other huge key. The last one I want to leave you with about your pitch. You need to make it clear that you are going to share actionable advice. So what you want to make clear is that when the audience leaves the room, they will have learned something they can go and put into motion. Okay. And that can be a lot of different things. Sometimes it's learning how to use a certain software. Sometimes it's learning how to speak to your husband. It's learning how to communicate with clients, whatever it is. You need to make it clear in the pitch that people are going to walk out of the room knowing how to do something new, and they're going to have the tools they need to actually start implementing when they walk out of the room. Okay. Now, maybe they don't in an hour, maybe you can't give them everything you need. Like, for example, I do a workshop with travel writers where I talk to them about how to use social media to grow their blog. I can't give them everything they need in an hour. In fact, I don't do that speech in an hour. It's a workshop and it's almost 8 hours. It's an entire day at a conference and I still can't give them everything they need. And I record training videos and I write blogs and it's all in this online portal because it's really like a whole course. It's not a one-day workshop, but we need to fit it into a one-day workshop for this conference. And so I have figured out how to deliver the pieces that get people started, and then they can get the sort of advanced information later. And so I want you to give them actionable advice, and I want you in the pitch to spell out what people are going to walk away knowing how to do, or how they're going to walk away being able to improve their life, whatever it is. What are you going to impart on them that they're going to be able to implement when they leave? I want that in your pitch, but don't get so caught up in, a lot of times it's an hour speech. You're not going to be able to teach them everything, but think about what you can teach them in an hour. What can you give them in an hour that will improve their life, their career, whatever? What tools, what can you teach them to do that when they walk out of the room, they can actually go do something and it's going to make that area of their life better? So you want that to be in your pitch too, okay? So your pitch is going to have the title of your speech. It's going to flesh out the idea. It's going to have a little bit of a bio that credentials you and positions you as an expert. And it's going to let them know the actionable advice people are going to walk away with, what they're going to walk away knowing how to do or being able to implement. And that's how you write a successful pitch. And most of the time it's going to be a cold pitch. Every once in a while you'll meet somebody and you'll get the opportunity to pitch them and it's more of a warm pitch because they already know you. But most of the time for speaking engagements, for myself and my clients, I find it's cold pitches. And the speaking world works that way. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with cold pitching. You can have a very high success rate cold pitching, particularly after you get a few speaking engagements and you're able to sort of reference those and you've got testimonials and you can kind of build on that. So I'm going to be pitching myself tomorrow because I'm afraid people aren't in the office today, and that's something you should take into consideration. Don't send these emails on weekends or holidays. You want it to be fresh in somebody's inbox. So I try to send this kind of stuff first thing in the morning, whatever their time zone is. So I'm going to be pitching myself tomorrow for some speaking engagements in Los Angeles because I'm taking sort of a last minute trip to Los Angeles in January. My mom is on a work assignment out there for January and February and has a corporate apartment in a swanky part of West Hollywood, so I can go stay for free. I've just got to fly myself out there. And So I was thinking like, I should really cover the cost of my flight somehow. And I thought, well, there's several universities out there that I haven't spoken at before. I should just write them and tell them I'm coming out. I'm going to tell them that I'm waiving my travel expenses because I'm already, traveling anyway, and I've already bought the flight and I'm staying at my mom's apartment and whatever. So they'll just have to cover my speaking fee. Now, in reality, my speaking fee is high enough. All I have to do is land one of these schools and it'll pay for my flight. As a matter of fact, I am going to upgrade myself to first class if I can get one of them to bite on having me come in and speak. And there's 5 or 6 universities I'm going to try. I feel great about getting one of them. I think I'll probably get 2 or 3 of them. So I'm super excited to pitch them, but it's all cold pitches. I know a couple of people at some of those schools, but they're not in the right position for who I need to pitch. So maybe I'll ask them to introduce me, but I'll do what I told you guys today. I will, position my topic. Now, because I've done this topic before at other schools, I will be able to name drop a few universities where I've done this speech or these workshops before. I've even got a testimonial I can include. So once you've had some speaking engagements, your pitch letter might change a little bit because you might be adding those types of things. But in the beginning, it's just all about having the title for your speech, fleshing out the topic, credentialing yourself as the right person to deliver it, letting them know what people are going to learn if they come listen to you speak, and asking. So at the end, make the ask. Say, let me know if we can jump on a call and discuss this further, or, please let me know if you have any open dates on your schedule this year. It sort of depends on what you're pitching yourself for as to how you word that. But at the end, I have sort of a call to action. I ask people to do something. I ask them to book a call with me, or I ask them to send me their schedule. I'm asking them to take that next step, because if you just present yourself and your topic and just say, thanks, Christy, at the end, you haven't asked them to do anything. It's amazing how just adding that 1 or 2 sentences at the end where you make the ask can really change your response rate and get those positive responses and people saying yes to having you as a speaker in 2017. If you guys have any other questions about pitching and about how to start landing those gigs in 2017, I'm here for a couple more minutes. Pop those down in the comments and I'll keep an eye out. Otherwise, if you want more of this and you want a little more kind of hand holding through the process, and you want to be able to see examples of pitches, and you want to get walked through the pitches and where to find the speaking engagements and how to actually put the speech together and then stage presence, all of that is in my brand new course, and it is everything from where to find the speaking engagements to how to write the pitch, how to get ready for the speech, how to deliver the speech, how to leverage it on social media so that you get that extra mileage out of it, how to start asking for money and actually getting it. All of that. I have tried to think of everything you could need as a speaker, and it is in this course. And if it's not, if you think of something and you're like, gosh, I wish this course had whatever, let me know. It is not too late for me to go in and make changes to this course. And when you get in, you have lifetime access. I also have a Facebook group that's just for the course. And here's what's cool about that group is starting later this month, once a month, I will bring somebody into that group who is going to share additional tips and advice about public speaking. So right now lined up, and I'm working on this some more this week, but I've got 2 guys already. One of them is going to come in and talk about getting on a panel at South by Southwest. He actually asked me to be on a panel a few years back, and I got in touch with him. He pitched a panel, got it accepted, and then invited the individual panel members. So he will talk about if you want to actually pitch a panel for South by Southwest, and then he'll also talk about if you're someone who just wants to be on a panel, how to sort of make it known that you're interested in that, how to get in touch with the right people and pitch yourself for those kind of opportunities. And then I've got another guy who's going to come in probably the following month and talk about, because I'm going to have somebody once a month, and he's going to talk about TEDx and how to pitch yourself for TEDx events and get into those TEDx events, which can be awesome credibility builders. So I will have someone like that every month, and you can come every month for as long as you want. You will have lifetime access to the course and to that group. And every month I am going to bring you someone who can give you that awesome actionable advice about how to do something. And if you guys have an idea, Danielle says she'd love to do South by Southwest. I actually had to turn down the panel he asked me for. The short version of the story is I worked for ESPN at the time, and their PR department had to approve every single thing that we did, including every speaking engagement. And so I got asked to speak at South by Southwest on this panel, and I went to ESPN, and they actually, they told me no, that I couldn't do it. And then they went behind my back and contacted the organizer of the panel, the guy who's going to come on in my group, and they pitched him someone else from ESPN who ended up going to do it. So they basically stole my speaking spot from me. So when people ask me why I'm not at ESPN anymore, and there's several reasons, but that happened years ago, and it still like makes my blood boil when I talk about it. So I never got to speak at South by Southwest, but hopefully this guy now will invite me back again the next time he has a panel. So he's going to come on and talk about how to pitch a panel for South by Southwest. He'll also talk about if you're just wanting to be on a panel, how you can try to get yourself on a panel. And then I'll have the TEDx guy hopefully in February. I'm still working on dates with them and trying to get dates that work. But I'll have them come in the group. Facebook is supposed to be rolling out new live where you can split screen and do it with someone who's not necessarily on location at the time. And so if that has rolled out, I will do it in the group as a Facebook Live. If that hasn't rolled out yet, we'll do it via Zoom or something like that where you can pop in and watch. And not only will I go through some things with them and have them sort of teach their lesson, but we will open up for Q&A and you will get to ask them questions. So that's one of the things I tried to add to this speaking course, so that you're not just getting what I've learned as a speaker through the main course, but you have that opportunity, first of all, to get kind of one-on-one coaching with me in the group. For example, someone who's already signed up for the course, she posted her bio in the group a couple of days ago, and I went in and completely rewrote it for her. That is not part of the package, but I want to add value anytime I can, and I immediately saw where I could tweak her bio and make it really work for her better. This would be like the bio that would go in the program or on the website once you've been booked to speak, and that's something I teach you how to do in the course as well, is how to write that bio. And so I went in and I rewrote it for her, and she's good to go now. So you'll have access to me in that group for that kind of stuff. And then also those once a month sort of pop-ins from other experts. And I will try to bring in people from as many different avenues as I can, different industries, different topics, different types of speaking events. I've got an event organizer I'm hoping to bring in as the speaker maybe in March, who will talk about how the different clients she works with book their speakers for live events. So, and anything you guys want to know, if it's not something I know how to do, I will go find the person who knows how to do it, and I will bring them in as one of our monthly speakers. Okay, I am dedicated to making this like the public speaking course out there. So if you take a look and you think something's missing, you ask me about it, because maybe it's there and I just haven't done a good job telling you it's there. And if it's not there, I will add it. Okay, I will get it in there. So you let me know. The link to the current sales page I dropped here in the comments. That will only be good today. That is the $395 rate. There's also a VIP option that gets you a lot of one-on-one time with me. But that $395 rate is going to go away, and it's going to go to $495 because I had a session with my sales funnel strategist and she told me I wasn't charging enough. So my new sales page is almost done and ready to go up, and my Facebook ads are going to start running to it. So before everybody else gets in the course and comes in at this higher price, I wanted you guys here in the group who are so loyal and show up for me all the time. I wanted to show up for you and get you in at this $395 rate. Okay, so the link is in the comments. If you have any questions, you can post them here or you can direct message them to me. I will answer anything you've got. And like I said, if you think there's something missing that you wish was there, let me know what it is. Virginia says, thank you. Thank you, Virginia. I love you too. I'm so glad I came on. You guys always give me so much energy, and I feel so like positive and ready to take on the world when I get done with these lives, and I hope you do too. And I hope you start speaking in 2017. I want to hear about it. If you land a speaking gig, come to the group, tell us about it so that we can all celebrate it, okay? I hope you guys have a fantastic Monday and that your 2017 is off to a great start. I will be back again later this week.